Most politicians utilize hate as a powerful tool to motivate their supporters and gain followers. This strategy, although controversial, can be effective in creating a sense of unity among a specific group of people. In this article, we will examine into the reasons behind why politicians resort to using hate to influence and mobilize the masses, and the potential consequences of such actions. By understanding the psychology and implications behind this tactic, you can critically assess the messages conveyed by political leaders and make informed decisions about who you choose to support. Key takeaways. Divisive tactic. Politicians use hate to separate individuals into us versus them mentality, creating a sense of unity among their followers against a common enemy. Manipulation of emotions. Hate can evoke strong emotions in people, leading them to act impulsively and without considering the consequences of their actions. Power and control. By fostering hate, politicians can manipulate and control the thoughts and actions of their followers, consolidating power for themselves. The psychology of hate. While politicians often use hate to motivate people to follow them, it's important to understand the psychology behind this divisive tactic. Hate can stir up powerful emotions and create a sense of urgency and unity among supporters. The emotional appeal of hate. An emotional appeal to hate can tap into the primal instincts of individuals, triggering feelings of anger, resentment, and superiority. This us versus them mentality can make you feel like part of a collective identity, giving you a sense of purpose and belonging. The role of fear in hate-motivated behavior. For some politicians, fear is a potent tool used to stoke hate and drive behavior. By exploiting your insecurities and anxieties, they can manipulate you into believing that certain groups or individuals are a threat to your well-being. This fear-mongering can lead to a heightened state of alertness and defensiveness as you become more receptive to their messages of hate. For instance, politicians may use fear tactics to convince you that immigrants are taking your jobs or that a particular ethnic group poses a danger to your way of life. This scapegoating can intensify feelings of resentment and justify discriminatory actions. 1. Create division to unite supporters against a common enemy. 2. Exploit fear and anger to stir up emotions and loyalty. 3. Demonize opponents to solidify support for their own agenda. 4. Appeal to people's insecurities and prejudices for political gain. 5. Polarize society to rally their base and maintain power. 6. Use hate as a tool to manipulate and control followers. Historical precedents. The rise of demagogues throughout history. One way to understand why politicians use hate to motivate people is to examine the historical precedents of demagogues. Throughout history, charismatic leaders have risen to power by exploiting fear, prejudice, and division among the population. These demagogues prey on people's insecurities and scapegoat marginalized groups to rally support behind their authoritarian agendas. How hate was used to gain power and control. Any study of history reveals the dangerous consequences of using hate to gain power and control. By stoking fear and resentment, demagogues create a sense of us versus them, eroding trust in institutions and fostering a climate of hostility. This manipulation can lead to violence, discrimination, and the erosion of democratic values. For example, during the rise of fascism in the 20th century, leaders like Hitler and Mussolini utilized propaganda that demonized certain groups, leading to catastrophic consequences. Such tactics can manipulate public opinion, justify oppressive policies, and silence dissenting voices. It is crucial to recognize the patterns of history and remain vigilant against divisive rhetoric that seeks to sow hatred and division for political gain. By understanding how hate has been weaponized in the past, you can be empowered to combat such tactics and uphold the principles of tolerance and unity. The politician's playbook. Now, let's explore into the strategies politicians use to tap into people's fears and anxieties to gain support and followers. Exploiting fears and anxieties. Politicians often exploit fears and anxieties by magnifying potential threats and insecurities that individuals may have. By highlighting these fears, they create a sense of urgency and importance around their policies and ideologies. This approach aims to make you believe that only they have the solutions to protect you from these perceived threats, which can lead you to support them unquestioningly. Creating enemies and scapegoats. For politicians, creating enemies and scapegoats is a common tactic to unite followers against a common enemy. By directing your attention towards a specific group or individual as the source of your problems, they deflect scrutiny from themselves and their policies. This strategy can create division and animosity among different groups within society, leading to a dangerous us versus them mentality. A playbook of divisive tactics like creating enemies and scapegoats can have detrimental effects on society, fostering hatred and discrimination. By targeting certain groups, politicians can fuel prejudices and reinforce stereotypes, ultimately jeopardizing social harmony and cohesion. The power of rhetoric in inciting hate. Playbooks often rely heavily on rhetoric that appeals to emotions rather than reason. Politicians use inflammatory language, stereotypes, and emotional appeals to incite hate and rally support. By tapping into your emotions, they can override logical thinking and manipulate your perceptions, shaping your beliefs and actions based on fear and anger. A deliberate use of powerful words and rhetoric can be a dangerous tool when it comes to inciting hate and division among people. It can sway your opinions, cloud your judgment, and drive you towards actions that you may not have considered in a rational state of mind. The impact on society. The normalization of hate speech. For societies, the normalization of hate speech can have devastating consequences. When political leaders use inflammatory language or promote discriminatory ideologies, it can lead to the normalization of hate within the public discourse. Over time, this normalization can desensitize people to intolerance and prejudice, making it seem more acceptable and normal. As a result, it becomes easier for individuals to express hateful views openly and without fear of repercussions. The erosion of civil discourse. An erosion of civil discourse occurs when hate is used as a tool to motivate followers. Civil discourse is the foundation of a healthy democratic society, where individuals engage in respectful and constructive dialogue, even when they disagree. When hate enters the conversation, it replaces rational arguments with emotional manipulation and extremist views. As a result, debates become polarized, and compromise becomes increasingly difficult to achieve. Civil discourse is vital for progress and cooperation in society. It allows for different perspectives to be heard and considered, fostering empathy and understanding among individuals with diverse backgrounds and beliefs. When hate speech is employed to sway public opinion, it undermines the foundation of civil discourse and leads to further division and conflict. The consequences of hate-motivated policy. Hate-motivated policies have far-reaching consequences on society. When political decisions are driven by hate rather than reason, marginalized communities can face discrimination in various forms, from exclusion to violence. Your rights and freedoms may be at risk when policies are implemented based on hatred and prejudice, leading to an erosion of trust in institutions and a fracturing of social cohesion. This erosion of trust and social cohesion can have long-lasting effects on society, making it difficult to repair the damage caused by hate-motivated policies. It can perpetuate cycles of injustice and inequality, creating a more divided and hostile environment for everyone. It is crucial to recognize the dangers of hate-motivated policy and work towards fostering a more inclusive and empathetic society for all. The role of social media. The amplification of hate speech. After analyzing the role of social media in the spread of hate speech, it becomes evident that these platforms serve as powerful amplifiers for incendiary rhetoric. The anonymity and reach provided by social media allow individuals to express extreme views without facing immediate consequences. Moreover, algorithms often prioritize engaging and controversial content, which can inadvertently promote hate speech to a wider audience. The echo chamber effect. Social media platforms can also contribute to the creation of echo chambers, where individuals are only exposed to information that aligns with their existing beliefs. This echo chamber effect can further polarize individuals, making them more susceptible to extreme ideologies and divisive rhetoric. The echo chamber effect refers to the phenomenon where individuals are only exposed to information that confirms their existing beliefs, creating a feedback loop that reinforces their viewpoints. This can lead to the spread of misinformation and the amplification of hate speech within closed online communities. The difficulty of regulating online hate. To address the proliferation of hate speech on social media platforms, regulatory efforts must contend with the challenges posed by freedom of speech and algorithmic biases. Balancing the need to protect freedom of expression with the responsibility to curb harmful content is a complex task that requires careful consideration of legal and ethical implications. The role of policymakers, tech companies, and users themselves is crucial in developing effective strategies to combat online hate. By promoting digital literacy, fostering constructive dialogue, and advocating for transparent content moderation policies, stakeholders can work together to create a safer and more inclusive online environment. The alternative, inclusive leadership. Despite the prevalent use of hate and fear in politics, there is an alternative approach that can lead to positive change and unity: inclusive leadership. This style of leadership focuses on bringing people together rather than tearing them apart, emphasizing empathy, compassion, and understanding. The power of empathy and compassion. One of the keys to inclusive leadership is the power of empathy and compassion. When you lead with empathy, you are able to understand the perspectives and experiences of others, creating a deeper connection and fostering mutual respect. Compassion allows you to act with kindness and consideration, promoting a sense of unity and togetherness among your followers, building bridges across divides. Compassion is important in building bridges across divides. By approaching differences with understanding and kindness, you can bridge gaps between opposing groups and promote dialogue and collaboration. When you lead with compassion, you can create a sense of common humanity that transcends divisions and unites people in a shared vision for a better future. For instance, when faced with political polarization, an inclusive leader seeks to understand the underlying needs and fears of all sides, working towards solutions that address concerns from multiple perspectives. This approach not only fosters collaboration and compromise but also builds a foundation of trust and respect among diverse groups. Conclusion. Ultimately, politicians sometimes use hate to motivate people to follow them because it can be an effective tool for rallying support and energizing their base. By appealing to negative emotions and creating an us versus them mentality, politicians can tap into people's fears, insecurities, and frustrations to generate a sense of solidarity and camaraderie among their followers. Hate can be a powerful force for mobilizing people to take action and rally behind a common cause or ideology. However, it is imperative to recognize the dangers of using hate as a motivator. While it may be effective in the short term, relying on hate to drive political engagement can have long-term consequences on societal cohesion and unity. It is crucial for politicians and citizens alike to be vigilant against the divisive tactics of hate-mongering and to strive for a politics of inclusivity, empathy, and understanding. By seeking to bridge divides rather than deepen them, we can work towards a more harmonious and equitable society for all.